Hello to all our Support Fibro friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to another Support Fibromyalgia Friday checkup. And we might have a new branding for this name as we are working through it. I am Melissa Talwar. I am the Executive Director of the Support Fibromyalgia Network, and I'm also a board certified functional medicine health coach. I'm joined today by Brandi. Brandi, let's introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brandi Privatera, the blogger over at Being Fibromom. I also help with the families program here at Support Fibromyalgia Network, along with a lot of other stuff like getting into a lot of trouble when it comes to so much work that we need to do and sharing ideas and stuff. I come up with a lot of ideas, which creates a lot of work for us.
Well, ideas are great and we appreciate ideas. And that's all that, this is part of the video for today as well. I think what we focus on too here is like creative ideas work and it's awesome to have them. And then we have relentless execution. So ideas only work as long as you can execute them and figure out if they work for the community. So that's why feedback too from all of you is important. And that's going to be a piece of today's presentation also, as we present a new program that we are currently working on for the fall. And we've had a lot of training in recently, and that's part of what we're going to present. And then we're going to get into some of the May updates. And then also just asking for Fridays. We have some ideas for topics moving forward on Fridays, but we definitely want to hear from you on questions and Q&A that we are able to answer, or if we need to bring in guests, like what that looks like moving forward. So hello to everyone. Hi, Jan. It's so good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. And if you're tuning in live, please leave a comment, emoji, let us know where you're tuning in from. Brandi, how has your week been going? Are you ready for what we call a weekend?
Like, oh my goodness, this has been the longest slow week I think I've had in a really long time. Like on Tuesday, I kept thinking it was Wednesday or Thursday because of how busy my days have been. And like, I've been having such an overwhelming amount of things to do, both, with Support Fibro, but as well as in my home too. And just making peace with it, not all getting done at one time, and me really having to pace and be okay with it looking the way it looks and just try to do as much as I can. So it's been a long week. I'm glad the weekend is here.
Well, and to let our viewers know and our Support Fibro friends know is that Brandi is the guru out there for all things fibromyalgia parenting. It's always great. I always defer people to her for asking questions, especially family management and learning. I always learn little tidbits and stuff from Brandi. So I definitely think you have to go check out Being Fibro Mom and the blog. And there's definitely more to come for fibromyalgia parents out there. I'm a stepmom, so I still fall in this category, although my stepson turned 21 in April. So I didn't get he came into my life when he was 10, so it was a little bit different, but still, like, we all count being parents. So fibro dads, fibro moms, fibro stepmoms, we're all here. And that's the joy and education that Brandi also offers at Being Fibro Mom and other opportunities to come. Right, Brandi?
Yes, and Fibro Guardians overall, because after my sister passed away, my mom and I share custody of my sister's kids. And well, she has legal custody, but they're over here all the time. And so my mom is a grandparent, but acts as their parent as well. So this is for, any kind of guardian. The struggle is real. Like, we have kids between my husband and me, we have kids from 6 to almost 22. So we have all the ages, and I'm just a mess. I'm just a mess about everything, and I'm learning everything as I go along. So I try to share a little bit of how I'm tackling it, just like I'm trying to tackle this week of being okay with my house being chaotic and just trying to focus on what I can. I try to do that as much as I can on social media. So follow along and, check out my chaos and how I'm trying to manage it the best I can.
For everybody out there, she manages it really well. She has fibromyalgia, just to remind, so sometimes people forget that. But she's learned to manage the household really well. And that's why I'm encouraging her to share more information for all the fibromyalgia parents out there, fibromyalgia guardians. anyone like grandparents that may be new guardians to people living with fibromyalgia, and then kids with fibromyalgia, kids with other chronic illness conditions. We're all in this community together. So that's why sharing information and helping each other is super important. Shout out to all these people coming in. Hello. It says NL. Welcome from all our spaces. Darlene, welcome from New Hampshire. Ooh, I need to take a better look at New Hampshire for traveling. So Darlene, you got to stay on me for that.
Someone asked if we were going to Massachusetts. Who asked that? I feel like someone either messaged me that or tagged me on social media. They're asking if we are going up to Massachusetts. And I'm like, I don't even know if we're going up in that section up there. I don't know. I know we have people in New York, like Syracuse. But I don't know, far up there.
Well, we're planning our course, and it's tricky because there's so many places to go. And the decision to maybe take a train or drive kind of diversifies it a little bit more to make stops in different places. Massachusetts, obviously, Boston is a hub for trains, planes, and things to stop in, not drive though, because I've driven out of that airport. I got so lost and so much chaos. So it's tricky. Jan, yes, Ohio is definitely on the list. We've talked about different places in Cleveland. Brandi and I were looking at that map the other day. So we're looking at Amtrak trains that stop in Cleveland for sure, but there's that route through. And then there's the southern route through Cincinnati. So let us know where exactly we need to pinpoint if we need to drive into places and stuff like that. But Cleveland has been on our mind for a while now. Same with our Michigan friends. Chicago is obviously on the list, but Chicago is an Amtrak hub. That's where all the kind of trains go in. I know we had a request recently, like Meisha. I haven't seen Meisha forever. She's in Mississippi. So we're plotting the course right now. We need to get that dialed in for everybody.
We need to go to Alabama for our brain scan.
Birmingham.
Yes, I just found out that one of my other family members moved to Alabama, and I'm like, where in Alabama? So I can figure this out. So we have even more excuses to go get our brain scan.
Well, the great thing about virtual is we can still meet virtual, and we'll have a lot of different virtual events. If there's stuff in particular everybody wants to see, we have a lot of group ideas. So in creativity, art projects, those things to do. We're going to talk about one idea here. But if you need to get connected to support group systems, we have those different available right now. We're still doing a lot of things virtually because I know we love it. I love being in my pajamas all the time, and I still haven't gotten used to it. But I know that there's some meetups coming. So we're going to do our best to try to get to different places as much as we can within like the next year or so. But in the meantime, let's all connect and enjoy each other's company in a community setting virtually. We have a lot of capabilities through that. And then that way we can get comfortable, can be as comfortable as we need to in our home and enjoy the community. But okay, presentation before we get off track.
And just to let you know, Jan, I wrote it down. Dayton, Ohio. Darlene, I wrote New Hampshire. I'm like keeping track of this so that way we can keep it on the forefront of our thoughts.
Absolutely. And I did a terrible job preparing for this today because I didn't have my screen shared already, but let's give it a try. Okay, let's add it in. Oh, wait, I got so distracted. Who's in Vermont? Vermont, I need you. Hello. Hi, Wendy. Wendy, we need to talk and connect. We are looking for fibromyalgia advocates in Vermont. I'm so sorry. Welcome to the... Okay, we need to... Brandi, on the list, how do we welcome? Because welcome to the fibromyalgia community, Wendy. I know what we need to get you resources right away so you can improve quality of life despite what any doctors have told you right now with fibromyalgia. You have support. Please know that you're not alone. I don't know exactly how to welcome people. Let us know. I need tips because can't say sorry because we're happy that you're here with us, but I know it's debilitating. So I don't want to downgrade that at all.
Well,
Okay.
Wendy, I do have on my beingfibromom.com site, I do have, you have Fibromyalgia Now What series. And so it takes you through all the things of when you're newly diagnosed and how to tackle it a little bit at a time. Just remember baby steps with everything, just baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed. It's easy to do in this community with so much to do.
Well, and like, do we say welcome or do we say, I guess welcome?
Yes, I always say that. I'm like, welcome to the tribe, welcome to the community.
Yes. Well, you're welcome to this community. And so again, please just know you're not in this fight alone. I'm not exactly sure what the providers have told you and what resources you have, but we have a lot of resources available for you. So I'm going to dig into the slide deck here. And one of the things that we're working on behind the scenes quite heavily, because Brandi and I both got introduced to this, and I've been working in group health coaching or group medical visits for the past 3 years. And what that looked like for me as a board certified health coach is that I'm in a room, a group of patients, anywhere from, maybe 10 to 20, and I get partnered with a medical provider. And we'll get into more details of this in my learning. So I've been with clinics across the country as a health coach, helping patients like implement lifestyle and behavior changes. So being trained in functional medicine, there's these modifiable lifestyle changes. So we work on those things together in the group. And this has brought this idea forward because we were working in clinical settings with other doctors and providers in the group for multiple different variety of chronic illness conditions. So in order to meet the criteria, you had to have 2 diagnosed chronic illness conditions, and then it's billable through insurance, which is fantastic. So this coaching, the group coaching was available to patients through insurance. It wasn't at an out-of-pocket cost, although that was available. So that was a cool idea for Brandi and I to kind of witness. And then we started asking a lot of these medical providers, could we go into specifics? Could we do these programs specifically for fibromyalgia? And of course, the answer was yes. So we've been doing a lot of training in the background with other medical providers. So these are MDs that are actually training other doctors in group medical visits and how to scale it. So we've been working with some wonderful doctors that are doing it. There is a doctor in Massachusetts that is training other providers, and we've taken a first round of his training on how to implement it. He actually has a in-person center and it's hybrid. It became hybrid during the pandemic, but it's in Massachusetts, and he offers group medical visits with a variety of programs. It's both a nonprofit and for-profit business. So this is piquing our curiosity. So what Brandi and I are developing, even outside of Support Fibro, because logistically we may not be able to do the insurance part here, but a pilot program with a lot of research based for it within the Support Fibromyalgia system. The curriculum is really going to be based in functional medicine, but we want to bring this to fibromyalgia patients as, again, a pilot program to prove to the medical community what's possible. We've been sitting in a lot of group medical visits that are catered to chronic pain, but we still feel that the pillars and the education could be expanded on even more. So Brandi and I have been working together with some other board certified health coaches to develop more programs. And this is specifically geared to fibromyalgia to see if we can launch it. Of course, everybody wants data. They want to know proof of concept. So this is what it's going to be about. And we're looking to launch this in the fall, moving forward with managing all of this together. Now, again, just for program updates, what we're looking for is more curriculum and helping you being a patient advocate in the office, and especially getting things organized, which is going to be a unique aspect of this program too, helping you streamline what your lab looks like, how to communicate with the doctor in the doctor's office, how to manage the time when you do, especially if you're with a primary care physician, what to do next if you've been deferred from a rheumatologist to a primary care physician. Then we're going to go through some other pillars like nutrition, sleep, movement, relaxation, digestion, which is my favorite. So everybody better get used to talking about their poop and bowel movements. We'll go all in on gut and brain health and its connection, because they really are BFFs. You can't focus on one without the other. And then, of course, the community support. So we've noticed from a lot of research that's already out there, especially with the diabetes community, they do a lot of the group medical or shared medical visits and have gained a lot of information for research. So we know that this overall helps community support. This is different from a support group. This is different from any sort of group therapy. This is not what it is. This is group health coaching. So we focus on these modifiable lifestyle changes, bring it home, empower you. Like, what can you do yourself with nutrition? Can you improve your quality of life using these pillars right here? Can you improve your sleep? Can you improve your relaxation and digestion with tools that will provide, again, based in functional medicine? What we're going to do is it's all virtual again. It's much easier to spread it out. It'll be scholarship based for now. So we're looking for people that can dedicate the time. We haven't plotted out perfectly how often we'll meet. We had a pilot program for health coaching previously, and we can share that video with you. So we had 2 groups of 6. Although in those groups, I was focused a lot more on food accessibility, and I was the coach in the group. We did really well with improving quality of life. One participant actually was able to go back to work and is super grateful and has helped us and wants us to launch more of these programs. So we want to expand on the educational content. We're looking at a new platform for people to be able to log in and have membership access to that, and then have guest speakers come into the group. So you can learn different techniques. Each of us as coaches have our own strength. I know Brandi and I both have a bias in nutrition because that's helped us quite a bit. And I'm encouraging Brandi to further that education. But there are some other coaches that do love, like, they're mind-body coaches. And I can tell you, I know I'm like your brain nerdy coach that'll help you a lot in different areas. So these are things we're looking at doing. It is designed, so this program is designed by board certified health and wellness coaches and fibromyalgia patients. So Brandi and I are the designers of this, but we are getting feedback from other coaches. And this is why it's important to understand the distinction too between board certified health and wellness coaches and who we're working with. So we are working with coaches that have a master's degree in health and wellness coaching from legitimate organizations. They teach at universities and integrated in that with health and wellness. They've been doing group medical visits. So they're consulting with us right now in the program. And ideally, we would love to scale this within doctors' offices. But again, we have to have a proof of concept. And we are working on getting grant funding so that we can bring in additional coaches. Brandi and I have been fortunate to connect with a lot of great, wonderful board certified health and wellness coaches. There was one in particular that's always on the top of my mind. She has a master's in nutrition. She has a master's in health and wellness coaching. She is fantastic. I got to train with her. I've never seen someone like her coach. She's amazing when she coaches in a virtual setting in group. So actually talking to her and sharing ideas and stuff and bringing her in a consulting position would be fantastic, because this is doable. I know that we have to do medical education. That is on the list. It is driving me bananas that we can't get it faster, but we have a stalemate with getting the fibromyalgia experts on board. So what can we do in between based on the certifications that we have? Brandi's gone and done health and wellness coaching as well. And so what could we do and give to the fibromyalgia community in the meantime? And this is where we want to approach it, right? Is like support that you need to get the modifiable lifestyle changes in there. And to give you a little bit of background too on more of being the differentiation between a national board certified health and wellness coaching. So people that have that signature like myself, we've had to take a national board exam. So the national board exam was given by the National Board of Medical Examiners. So I had to take an exam in person at one of those facilities. It was not an easy exam. Not everybody passes the exam. It was intense. So there is an intense qualification to be nationally board certified. A lot of the people at, like, I know the VA has a great program called Whole Health, and they're doing amazing things with that too. So in order to do that, and then every coach that's board certified, you have to get recertified every 3 years. You have to take CEUs. So it is an intense program, and there's lots of involvement. It is known in the community with CPT codes now. So that's why we're utilizing board certified health and wellness coaches for the program, because they also get used in research. There's new publications in research about coaching. And if you do have questions, you could always search, because this is not a new thing. And this is something that Brandi and I were both working in, is this group medical visits, or it's called shared medical visits. Usually you'll see it with the doctor in the program, potentially an MDDO. If you have an opportunity anywhere across the country right now to join these programs, please do. They're generally the ones that are billable by insurance. Because it's helpful to move the whole and community forward. If you can join it, they can be helpful for people. We've seen a lot of great results. Each program is going to be different based on the doctor involved, or if you do have a health coach like I've been doing for the last 3 years, I'll be the health coach in the room, and then I'm supervised by a PA, an NP, or even sometimes the MD and DOs. So there is supervision involved. There is structure to these programs. And the best thing of all is that it's billable to insurance. I can't emphasize this enough, because we need insurance to get on board with these types of modalities. The more we do this, the more you'll get covered for other modalities that you need in treatment. So that's the gist of this. It's coming soon. We have a lot of content that we developed based in functional medicine. I know some of you have access to a Google Drive that I share with people. I do a whole brain dump with all of my training from Dr. Terry Walls, Dr. Karazian. You have access to those resources. So we just want to scale it here at the Support Fibromyalgia Network to organize it better, because right now it's in a Google Drive. I don't think anyone can make sense of all this stuff, because I have all this brain stuff, all this nutrition. I have all the functional medicine documents. So we're going to be building in a new platform where we organize all this content together. So stay tuned for signups. Again, we want to make this research-based. So anyone that joins the program, we're going to ask you to fill out some surveys in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Probably an FIQR or something, or maybe MSQ, to gauge the relevance like we did in our other pilot program, because we want to submit this for abstracts. We want to get the word out everywhere, and then we want to show good results for fibromyalgia and hopefully get more funding for other programs besides pathophysiology. So we think this is important here. I did want to leave you on one note. Please support our channels right now. We are looking at grant funding. We're looking at shareholders and other stakeholders around the companies. And unfortunately, the thing that stinks is sometimes these other companies judge you based on your social media metrics. So it doesn't matter about the quality of content or the quality of programs. They're judging you on the social media metrics, which is really hard and frustrating at times. So if you could, do us a favor, like our page in Facebook, like us, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really need to build up our metrics so that we can present to other people about these programs and move it forward to these stakeholders. I know it seems silly, but they actually check it even for grants. They want to see your that you have a large following, which we do. We're growing, but we definitely could use more support. So.
And we did have a question asking if this is for US only, or is it open internationally?
Well, what we can do is open it up internationally, because we aren't taking insurance for our pilot program. Maybe we do a separate program, because we're measuring metrics for improving quality of life. But that's a great question to try to figure out. I think it's the timing that's going to interfere. If you can join based on the timing of the groups, we don't want to turn people away. Not with our, not with this pilot program, not at all.
The other thing I wanted to say is that when you say support research, so Melissa was saying is 3 times throughout this program, there was kind of some questions, and she said some acronyms that I don't know. Basically, what that means is that we check in with you and ask some questions like, how well is this program working for you? How do you feel at the beginning, at the middle, and the end? And the reason this is important, and Melissa can describe the acronyms and what that means, but the reason this is important is because it tells us where we need to adjust the content in order for it to be effective. So the surveys, it's not like it's really in depth. I mean, I've seen them, they just ask some simple questions about, how you're feeling and how the content is relevant and that sort of thing. So don't get intimidated by the acronyms. Acronyms can be very intimidating, but that just gives credibility to what we're doing. And Melissa can explain what those acronyms are.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's more of it's a fibromyalgia questionnaire. They use it for research, or they'd use different statistical surveys for some of the research to gather information, like Brandi said, of where you're at. So where do you start out with your quality of life? Like, are you able to do daily tasks? Like, how difficult is it to brush your hair, take a shower, do laundry? So that's what some of these surveys assessed. So when it comes to when you start a program versus what happens at the end of a program. So was this program helpful for you? Did you see improvements? Do you feel like more motivated? Did you have improvements at all in energy, pain, mental health improvements? So that's where some of these questionnaires come in for the research point. And unfortunately, we have to do research ourselves because no one necessarily has adopted this. There has been some past research on coaching, health coaching for fibromyalgia. They saw that it works, but we're doing it with group coaching, which is unique. And that's why we hope to partner up with medical providers as well. But again, everybody's asking for this pilot proof of concept. And once we start with proof of concepts, then we can pull in medical providers, because if you do have a medical provider, this is something that they could do in the office and we can facilitate it as well. They could do it through insurance and they don't necessarily have to be fully trained in fibromyalgia. They would approve the program that's already kind of been designed and people are actually feeling better with. And what happens in those cases is that they can help their patients in return. So we're helping with some of these lifestyle modifications, improvement. You feel supported. You have an advocate in the room, which is great. And then, you have a connection to your provider, and they don't necessarily need to be an expert in fibromyalgia. They just have to know and agree and be like, yeah, you know what? I think helping patients with improving their quality of life with sleep, nutrition, movement will make a difference. So that's all they have to agree to. They don't necessarily have to be the expert in fibromyalgia, but that way it's a group community effort. And kind of like what we're seeing here in the comments is, how do you do that? Those are the perfect questions. So someone like Jan would be in our community group sharing how she onboarded herself and has kept up nutrition. What has she done to continue to improve her nutrition, optimize it? What does she do to cook? Recipe swaps. And then we would have, Pamela asking these questions. So then maybe they could even partner up and they're sharing with each other. But we're really focused on health goals. So that's the distinguishing feature in this type of program.
Yeah, and I love the group setting because I really wasn't sure how it worked until I actually was literally in the groups and seeing how it worked. And some key takeaways that I really loved about it was being with like-minded people, not feeling alone, feeling encouraged, talking to others that truly understand what you're going through. So it takes away that barrier of not wanting to talk because you're scared of what other people are going to think. But you're in a room where you're all experiencing the same thing. Y'all have all been there, are there, going to be there at some point. So it makes it really easy to share and just learning from one another. Like, I didn't learn how to do all these things that I now know how to do. I had to learn from other people and sharing ideas and talking to others to give me ideas on what works for me and my household. And that's what really can happen in these group settings. And I've even seen, like, I remember this one group in which almost everybody was friends. It was like, 4 or 5 of them. And they actually met outside because it was in a local area. They all met outside of the group and forged these amazing friendships where they went hiking and they had get-togethers. And it was just like, yes, that's what it's about, because it gets quite lonely when you don't have other people that understand. But even if it's not in person, but you have a group online where you can all go to. I mean, look, even right here, I've been watching this really heartfelt conversation between Pamela and Jan, simply because we're in a setting where we all know what it is to go through things. So here they are really sharing some stuff that is intimate for both of them, and they feel comfortable to do that because we're here together. And that's what this group setting does for us.
I love that. And absolutely is just making the connections, community support, implementing long lasting lifestyle changes. So this is different when it comes to health coaching because we're not looking at like 30-day challenges where the idea is where you fall off the wagon. You're getting the support where you can improve your quality of life continuously for long lasting changes. Or maybe you're coming in from a clinical setting and they need to have you implement programs like FODMAP, elimination diet. So what health coaching does is they support you along the way for understanding those pieces because those are challenging to actually implement. And in our next lives, we're going to probably jump into some of those food resources because we get a lot of questions like when people on this program, they don't even know what to eat. So that's like upcoming for some other Fridays, but this is like the benefit of being a health coach and meeting people where we're at. And then going back to the community setting, because I've been fortunate enough to work in a lot of the brain health. So I'm partnered with a lot of clinics that are neurologist-based brain health groups. So what I'm noticing too in a community setting, working with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients, you have the patients there where their caregivers are also in the room on the Zoom with me. So you have a group of patients and caregivers together in the group, and you see them and building that community space together. They're sharing. They know that the medical system isn't necessarily working well for them. Their loved ones have been told there's nothing that they can do for Alzheimer's, but this is why they feel empowered now because there's a group of them talking. There's a group of them discovering new health benefits of what they can do to help each of their loved ones. And that's the cool part of all of this. And that's what we want to bring to the fibromyalgia community because we know it's challenging. You're given treatments. You don't know what to do. You don't even know if they work. Sometimes they don't even work. So we're kind of stuck in this phase where there's not that investment on the treatment side yet, but there are ways to improve your quality of life. And that's the goal with this is like, can we get people to slowly improve quality of life with enough support and the education? Again, we do education based in functional medicine, functional integrative. So that's what we're trying to bring to the table.
Yeah. And like we had earlier, Wendy was newly diagnosed. And, it's like I was giving her some pointers of where to go because when you leave the doctor's office with the fibromyalgia diagnosis or with anything really, it's okay, well, that's great and all. You're in the clinic and they're telling you all the do's and don'ts, but they don't come with you to your house and like help you really implement that in an applicable way that's good for you and your family. And what this group health coaching does is kind of guide you on how to, and we're not there sitting there telling you what to do. That's one thing that I love about this coaching is that I've seen Melissa coach and the other coach that she was referring to, they're phenomenal. They really get, even Melissa, like right now I'm going through this whole food thing and Melissa asked me questions like, well, how can you do this? And how can you do that? And it really helps me think on my own because we're not always going to have someone holding our hand all the time. So it's, getting in this group setting, trying to figure out, building up our confidence to be able to know what to do and what not to do that's good for us and being able to apply that in our everyday lives. And I think that's like really important to do because even though we're considered to be an expert, and I say expert like this because I really don't feel like an expert with fibro parenting because I'm still learning. I'm still learning all these things. Here it is all these years later, and I'm still having these new discoveries of all this stuff. And I'm still going to like Melissa and some other people that I know that specialize in it and be like, help me. Like I used to have this under control, but now we have new stuff. So that's what makes this so great. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Yeah, that's the beauty of health coaching and what I learned too, because unfortunately we get a lot of expert approach, especially even on social media. Do this, this is how I got better. This is blah, blah, blah. This is what you have to do. And with health coaching, we're like, no judgment. Let's meet you exactly where you're at. What do you feel will benefit you? Let's start there. There's no one way to approach everything. Everybody is individual. We're going to do things differently, and how we actually improve quality of life. And even moving forward in these Fridays, talking about food, you're going to notice the differences between Brandi and I based on nutrition. Like, we did both discover the importance of nutrition, but what we discovered and what we utilize in our own lives differs dramatically. So I went to a ketogenic lifestyle, like more therapeutic. I feel best in that lane. And Brandi I think you feel terrible in that lane.
Yeah, I can't do that at all.
So but see, that's the uniqueness. So there isn't going to be one way to do it, but it's creating awareness on what actually works for you. And that's what we work in with noticing stuff like that. So if you know that, we all know that we need to improve sleep. And I wish there was a magic pill that could get us all to sleep and get deep, restful sleep. That is a challenging thing to actually work on with sleep habits. Some of us are so unique in what we need, and there's different implementations about that, but it's even empowering you to work with your provider to share information. I do that all the time too. I had a neurologist provider, and I was talking about the Bristol stool chart, and I said, look, you can go take the neurologist your Bristol stool chart results. He's like, what? He's like, you want a neurologist to talk about crap? Although he used another word. But like, yeah. So, I mean, this is the uniqueness, because I do think all primary care physicians should have a full scope, or all physicians to understand. So this is part of the program that we're developing.
Yeah, and it's like when earlier this week, Melissa and I were just chatting on the phone, and she was like, and I think we switched the text message, but you said, I was like, I don't know how to do this. And you're like, well, I know the process, but I don't know how to make it taste good. And I'm like, well, I know how to make it taste good. I just don't know the process. And so this is what happens when you talk to other people about your journey. And like the stool chart, I had no idea about. You're friends with Melissa long enough, and you become comfortable talking about poo. Like, even have poo emojis back there, and that's on my wall. But I know it sounds really gross, but when you start learning about this stuff, you can start gauging on what your body is doing just by what you see in the bathroom. And I know it sounds really gross, but it's crazy what can happen between your gut and the way you're feeling. And it may not have a strong link for everybody, but for me, definitely there's a strong link between how I feel and what I'm eating.
Well, and this conversation comes up again, and we'll probably have a separate Friday just on digestion, because living with a quality of life also means digestion. And if you're running to the bathroom, or you're scared to leave your house, or like I do, where the cleanest bathrooms are on every road trip, like, that's an intense side that may be affecting your quality of life. And that's what we're trying to like dig at and see if there's improvements, creating awareness. That way you can talk to your doctor and feel comfortable sharing with your doctor and being like, you know what, my gut issues are really affecting me. It's not just chronic pain. And I know a lot of us in fibromyalgia have like IBS, almost like IBD type symptoms. There's a lot of components of celiac disease that comes up that may not be fully tested, or borderline, and then gluten sensitivities and things like those. So it's complex, and that's why we just want to be able to advocate and empower all of you in the medical system a little bit better.
Yeah. And thank you, Crystal, for the words of encouragement. I doubt myself a lot. That's something that I struggle with. So thank you for that encouragement. Again, that's what I love about our community, is no matter where we are in the community, we always support one another and lift one another up. Blah, blah, blah. I need lunch.
Well, and that's a great transition there, because speaking about community events and building each other up, May is around the corner, and Crystal is here too. So we have a lot of events coming up in May. I can't even keep them straight. So there's so much. So first of all, though, Shine for Fibro. How do people share their story with you? We're seeing people post comments. So we love that everybody is getting involved with the lights and sharing images. So what else can they do, Brandi?
Well, let's see if I can get my thing to work this week. I always do this backwards. Nope, it's still not going to work. Like, I even turned it on beforehand to work. See, my B back there is supposed to light up purple, and whenever I'm on video, it just does not work, but it works beforehand. So Shine for Fibro is when we shine a light in May, a Shine a Purple Light in May for awareness. Now, this shining a purple light may seem like it does nothing, but actually it does a lot. It acts as a beacon of hope and understanding for everyone living with fibromyalgia. It honors those that we have lost with fibromyalgia, and it shines a light onto the path that we are forging here in the fibromyalgia community, along with everyone else. It's a way to say, hey, I have fibromyalgia, and if you need someone to talk with, I'm here to support you and understand you. So yes, we had someone that was online and said that she got some purple flower lights from my site, because I went onto Amazon and I was like, look at all these beautiful purple. You used to be able to just get the light bulb. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff. So if you go to my blog, beingfibromom.com, and you click on blog in the menu, it will take you to Shine for Fibro. It's right there at the top. It's pinned to the top. If you click on that, there's all the reasons why we shine a light for fibromyalgia, what it means for awareness and advocacy, and what you can do to make that campaign successful. Because awareness campaigns a lot of times fail because they fail to ask the people, the audience, to take action with that. So if you just, even if you just share that article out, or share some of the things that you see about fibromyalgia online, no matter who it comes from, as long as it's legit and credible, and you share that out, that's part of awareness. If you want to shine a purple light for fibromyalgia and take a picture and snap it and put it on social media and tag it with Shine for Fibro, that's helping awareness too. So what awareness does is that it makes people aware of an issue. In this case, it's fibromyalgia. What advocacy does, which Melissa will talk about later on, is that it takes that awareness and does something with it in order to implement changes that we need in the fibromyalgia community. If you cannot, or you don't want to shine a purple light for fibromyalgia, and you want to share your fibromyalgia story, there's a way that you can do that too. Again, in that same article, down at the very bottom, it says, take the first step. You can click on there and there's a form that you can fill out. You don't have to answer the questions if you don't want to. It's just a little prompt to get you talking about some stuff. And that way we can share it on social media. And what that does is it makes a personal connection to those legislators, those people that can actually make changes by listening to us. That's what they're listening to. They're listening to our fibromyalgia stories and listening to the struggles that we have and how it's impacting our everyday, in order for it to be humanized, to make it personal. So it's not just a word they see it in our everyday lives, and they're like, oh, wow, yeah, this is affecting them. What can we do? And so it really matters. It really matters. So take those pictures, post it online, tag Shine for Fibro. If you want to share your story anonymously, I know a lot of people do, you can send us a direct message as well, and we can help you with that.
Absolutely. I mean, pictures go a long way to just share. I know the Fibromyalgia Association of Canada has their Faces of Fibromyalgia submission that they've been sharing around too. So shout out to them. They are doing some Light for Fibro campaigns as well. So this is an international event, international celebration in that way, international awareness, because fibromyalgia is a diagnosis that everybody is getting and receiving around the world. So we want to just support every advocate out there, because it's different in each country. Some people feel very lonely in their countries because they're trying to advocate. So let's really make it a lot louder in the month of May, even though we do advocacy and awareness every single month of the year. But I know May is the time for everything to get a little bit louder. And I know that there's campaigns too from Crystal, who has the proclamations. So we've been sharing those from different states. So if you see those going around, please share, and especially share with people in those particular states. It is part of public awareness. We're educating people on fibromyalgia. And then we also, by sharing those around, then people actually realize, oh, wow, there are other people in my state. And it sounds, you think you assume people already know this, but it's different when you actually connect. And that's what we even noticed for our advocacy event. So we are doing Advocacy Week again, May 10th and 11th. We have advocates joining us. Meetings are currently getting scheduled. And we still notice too, when they join the meetings for their senators and they meet the other people in their states, they're like, oh my gosh, there's other people just like me living in my state who have fibromyalgia, who are going through similar challenges. And so working together is important. I know we have the Swing Care event coming on May 4th. So tune in to Swing Care's Facebook page. There's other creative projects we're working on to launch. There is the Freedom from Fibromyalgia Summit. Once I'm able to promote that, I think I'm able to get the link on May 9th. Please do help us and share. With that, it was the first time really being on something like that. I was nervous, so we'll see how it goes. But we could use your support and tell people that, fibromyalgia community, especially the Support Fibromyalgia Network, could use the opt-in. So please register through our affiliate link when we are able to post it. We really appreciate it because there might be ways to help these programs that we just talked about and gain some extra funding for the nonprofit organization, which directly serves you, all our programs. What else is going on? There's a lot. Oh, May 12th. Pop with Crystal. So I should have written this down. So my fibro brain on Fridays. Join Crystal on Facebook for her Put on Purple. We want to see purple shine. So of course, purple all over in May. Shine the light for fibro with the light. Put on purple. Get, if you have a purple hat, purple shirt, purple socks, do it, show it, share pictures. Because I know Crystal has that event on May 12th. Broadcasted virtually live. She is representing a bunch of us out there as an advocate. Did I miss anything for May?
So Madi from Lupus Spoons also has something on May 12th. So if you wear purple, tag her on it. I don't know all the details of it, but we also have the Fibro Bloggers Directory, Lee Good. She is actually right now, I reached out to her earlier this week and said, hey, I would really love it if you could just tell me any of the other awareness campaigns that we have going on in May for fibromyalgia. And so what she's doing is she's collecting all that and she's going to share it with me. So as soon as we have it, we'll be able to share it. Because again, I'm wearing purple right now. That's awesome. Yeah, this is all about just sharing with the community. So if you know of anything, let us know. Hi, Danielle.
Well, and May is a big month, quite honestly. It's not just fibromyalgia. So I know our lupus friends celebrate World Lupus Day on May 10th. I think we'll be doing some stuff with More Than Lupus with Kelly. Shout out to her for the month. And there's other communities. So I know like AS, EDS, MECFS. So all of these communities are rallying and spreading awareness, and many of us overlap with these conditions. I know we've been working with Miles for Migraine on their events, which continue. Eye Pain Foundation has some chronic pain and rare disease awareness events happening. So we'll be sure to share those events. It's specifically for Arizona, but it's super cool. So they're at live events educating other people in different counties of Arizona. So we'll be sure to share that with you as you keep posted. Please do attend the events if you are in those Arizona counties. It does make a difference to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Crystal brought up, Crystal brought up a good point with that too. I love that. If you're camera shy, these are some other ways. I saw that she had posted that yesterday or today and her events. And I thought that was such a good idea because some people just don't want to be on camera for whatever reason. So thank you, Crystal.
Well, and dogs count too. Like you can photo of a dog with a sign or just even pictures of a sign. With fibromyalgia awareness. I think Brandi has coloring books. They are downloadable on her site. We have even a coloring book for Support Fibro. If you just want to color in Support Fibro and take a picture of that, that counts too, because we're creating awareness. That's all that matters. I know Crystal gets in with her puppy dogs, and so they have a purple scarf. So there's a lot of creativity here. Like I said, you can do socks. You can just take a picture of your feet with purple socks.
I have purple slippers on right now. Too bad I couldn't get a picture of that.
Purple slippers, purple headband, like you are showing off your purple. You don't need to necessarily see your face if that doesn't feel comfortable to you. Purple hands, whatever you need to be. If you're more of a hand model or a hair model, I know those exist. We're all in for it. But again, just want to make sure that you're not in this fight alone with the fibromyalgia community. You have support. You have people that care about you. We may not have met you in person yet, but we are working really, really hard behind the scenes to change this medical system for fibromyalgia.
And I do want to say one last thing. I'm just going to plug this in. We are looking for people to share their fibromyalgia story, not just for the Shine for Fibro, but for another project that Danielle and I are working on. I don't want to give out too many specifics, but if you are interested in recording a video message about you living with fibromyalgia and how it affects your life, then just reach out to me. You can private message support fibro and we'll get it here on the team, and then I can reach out to you via email and let you know some of what we're looking for and see if you're willing to participate. So I'm really looking for some video submissions for that. It's going to be an amazing project. I can't wait for it to be done. And Danielle and I are just like, I'm super stoked about it. I'm like constantly messaging her like, what about this and what about this?
Well, that's awesome. And there's plenty of opportunity in May to share your story. And again, we're going to have some videos coming up on sharing your story with the representatives. If you weren't able to join us for the meetings, we do need your help emailing them, calling them, and you can share your story to them and let them know that they need to be putting more money towards fibromyalgia research funding at the NIH. So that's going to be a big push that advocacy week. So we'll have more information for you on how to do that.
Hey, Crystal, before you record your video, let me send you an email because there's something very specific that I need you to do at the very end. It's like super important. So before you record, let me send you a message, an email about that.
Well, and
Awesome.
we have questions of this is for the US. So I'm not sure specifically. Well, of course. So just to let you know, we work internationally with a lot of different organizations that are doing work. And that's one of these goals that we really have here at the network too, is to do this as an international advocacy and awareness campaign altogether. I know even UK and Canada also have their Fibromyalgia Awareness Week in September. So we need to figure out how to coordinate this because there's like Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. We're advocating for Fibromyalgia Awareness Month in May. And then there's a Fibromyalgia Awareness Week in September. So we all need to get on the same page. We're coordinating with different organizations across the country to try to bring these services. And we're open to working with people. I know we're super open to Project Echo having those scopes internationally. And actually, it might be better to launch if they have the providers open and any of these campaigns, Light Up for Fibro, Shine for Fibro, whichever works. But there's so much that we can do on an international scale. So please know that you're not left behind. I know us going to Capitol Hill is a US based thing, but we are talking to other organizations internationally to find out what they need for their government systems. And they've been asking questions on how we've been approaching it. So we are talking to each other and we are supporting all of each other, no matter where we live, on both advocacy, awareness, medical education, patient education, and even taking tips together on support groups. So it's fantastic. And we need to scale this much more so that we're all working and collaborating internationally so that nobody ever feels left behind, no matter where you live.
Yeah, absolutely. Melissa and I, we do awareness and advocacy 12 months a year. We live with fibromyalgia 12 months a year. So that's how we look at it. We live with it. So we're tackling it.
And I
It's
think
just,
Brandi and I even do it in our sleep, unfortunately.
yes. Oh my goodness. I have a whiteboard in my room. That's awful because I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't see, but I'm like using the moonlight to be able to write down my thoughts without my glasses on and it's pitch black. And I'm like trying to write all this stuff down. And I wake up in the morning and I'm trying to make sense of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, because I dream about this. Melissa, you've done the same thing. You just like pop awake and you're like, oh yeah, I got to do this.
I know some people have the fortunate experience to get an email at odd hours of the night, or I send myself stuff. And so, yes. So we're even advocating during our sleep. Eventually, we'll have to find some restful sleep. But I think once we move further, I think we'll probably be able to figure out how to rest. But it's a big deal to work on an international scale, to be collaborating with other organizations that understand what we need to do and collaboration together. So I think maybe as we find some more momentum, maybe we'll get a little bit better sleep. Hopefully that's a goal. That's a life goal right there.
Crystal was making fun of me with the whiteboard in my room. She said, "How military of me." Yes, I do that. I have a lot of military tendencies in my house.
Is the whiteboard thing part of that? Because I have a whiteboard in my bathroom. That's what I was tracking.
I have a whiteboard in our bedroom, and then I have one that's over here, and then I have one that's in front of me. So no matter where I'm at, I can remember it. But I'm very organized about stuff. And I can't remember what Crystal and I were joking about through text message a couple of weeks ago about how I am. It's like just some things are just implemented in you and it just never goes away. And I went into the military at the age of 17. And so very young age, I'm like implemented with this stuff that it carries over to my kids in my house.
Well, I mean, it's a lot to like think about, but there's good things ahead. So that's why we want to tell people, we're definitely, as an organization, we're all about relentless execution. So getting things done. Ideas only work if we can actually implement them. And that's what we're working hard to do. You're definitely going to see some fundraisers and stuff like that from our end. Please support us how you can. That's why also the likes and the subscription stuff does help, because we do then can approach other shareholders for donations or open up grant funding. So that's stuff that we are working on to supplement. But we appreciate everyone joining us on these Fridays. Again, if you have topics that you would like us to share, we will be diving in more into nutrition in the next few topics. We are doing some more progress with Ask the Expert with Inspire. So stay tuned for more information from that.
Yeah, any questions that you have, please just guide us, because there's so much. So like if this is all the information in the world about fibromyalgia, like we're like, okay, where do we begin? So help us narrow it down by asking your specific questions or just general areas so that we know. Get over to Inspire, join the fibromyalgia community and join us there. There's over 18,000 members. And that's what we're talking about right now. Like, what are some good resources that you have? What are some topics that you want to hear discussed by some experts? It's free to join. You can do it anonymously as well. So you can hop over there and do that as well.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a low pain and as restful as a weekend as you can. And we will definitely see you. We'll see you before Friday, though.
Yes,
I
definitely.
forgot, because Monday is May 1st.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm having a really big realization right now. So May's already here. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we'll be seeing you a lot in May. Stay tuned, stay in touch. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.